Sagittarius rising. This is your 2023 astrological forecast, and what a very interesting and yet diverse year it will be for you indeed, Sagittarius rising. So, to get started, we first off will look at the planet of communication, Mercury, and that will be in your natal second house of money, resources, your values. And so, right now, especially during the time of Mercury in Capricorn, which to start off the year, it will be retrograde until January 18th. Then it goes direct in Capricorn until it enters Aquarius on February 11th. So it's going to be all about your money, your finances. Right now, you may feel like you're coming up a little bit short in the money and financial department. Yes, do keep an eye on your investments, or there may be just general frustrations now with your income. And it's about your values, what you know hold near and dear, Sagittarius rising. So with Mercury retrograde, you may be jumping back into the past and really reflect on what means very much to you, Sagittarius rising right now. But once Mercury does turn direct, then all will clear up. You may see then, as we move forward and then into February, a bonus in your finances. Maybe you'll get that raise you've been looking forward to. Sagittarius rising. Now, the next most important Mercury for you for 2023, Sagittarius rising, will be Mercury in the sign of Leo in your ninth house. And especially if you've got Mercury at the top of your chart on your MC or your midheaven. So, Mercury's time frame in Leo will be from June 11th until July the 28th. Now, Leo is all about the show. It's a little bit dramatic and very creative. So with Mercury in your ninth house, especially with your midheaven now, Sagittarius, and especially since Mercury goes so well with your rising sign, it's going to be about communications with travel, long distance travel. It's going to be all about right now, possibly going back to school, research, you name it, maybe doing a little digging and some investigation. But the ninth house is all about our personal beliefs, what we also here hold near and dear as far as our outlooks, our religious, spiritual beliefs, and so on and so on. And you are ever so philosophical right now about all of that, Sagittarius rising. And the ninth house is about the contract. So right now in Leo and Sagittarius fiery style, you might be negotiating some very profitable contracts, especially since the depositor of Mercury in Leo is the sun. So wherever you have the sun in your personal birth chart will be very important, and this will also possibly bring you added material and prosperity extraordinaire. So that is very important to look to where your personal sun sign is located in your chart. But the ninth house is great when you want to really express how you feel on any topic whatsoever. And hey, who knows, you're going to be busy with that career and traveling. Then it's going to get a little complicated now. We've got Mercury, the communicator, going in its own and most elevated in the sign of Virgo in your 10th house of career. Yes, indeed. And now it will be entering the sign of Virgo on July the 28th It will enter Virgo and then it will flip back retrograde on August the 23rd. And then it will then go direct in Virgo on September 15th. Then it will go into Libra October 4th. Shoo, that's a long trek through the sign of Virgo. But hey, Sagittarius rising, it's on your 10th house of your career. So, with Virgo there and in the most elevated sign of Virgo, Mercury's all about communication now with your 10th house. You're going to feel especially ambitious. You want to communicate to those closest to you, those you work, you do business with, what your aims and goals are. And it is a time you may negotiate with some of those aims and goals. Did you say you were looking for that raise again now? Sagittarius rising, maybe you're looking to get that particular position of advancement now, and you will be particularly charming. Yes, indeed. And also, for those Sagittarius risings that are looking for a career or many careers, right now you're going to find this is a time that you may think about taking on a new business. You might think about maybe creating that hobby into a new career. But Virgo is mutable, kind of like Pisces, like your rising sign Sagittarius and Gemini. So, hey, you're going to be working late now, very likely, Sagittarius, on some of those plans for some of those many different business ideas. But because Mercury, yes, indeed, is going to flip back retrograde Sagittarius, you may find that this is a time you may overstress yourself at the office or during times of business. You are really pushing it to make those deadlines. But don't worry, don't stress, Sagittarius rising, because as Mercury, the communicator, goes direct into Virgo, then at that time and then forward weeks ahead, yes, everything will begin to ease up. But hey, it's a great time for all kinds of talks, all kinds of jobs, businesses, oh, and even, well, maybe a little travel, since Virgo also, like you, Sagittarius rising, loves to be on the go. Just don't get too critical with those business associates. Then we've got Venus. Oh, the love planet indeed, Sagittarius rising. And that will go into your 7th house of partnerships and relationships in Gemini. And that will be in the sign of Gemini on April 11th. Yes, indeed, until May the 7th. So during that time this spring in 2023, Sagittarius rising, you're going to be communicating ever so sweetly with your partners, your business partnerships. Yes, maybe you're going to be negotiating many Gemini of those legalities right now. But this is only going to benefit you because Venus there is very charming in the sign of Gemini. And right now, your communications, especially since Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, are going to be particularly sparkling and charming. What you say will have a very strong effect on all your public relations and all forms of partnerships. And who knows? Because Mercury is there and it's all about communications and connected also with the 3rd house. Maybe right now, Sagittarius rising, you're going to be planning that wonderful trip or excursions with your sweetheart, or maybe some of those legal concerns that you've been, well, involved with as of late will just benefit you immensely now. Sagittarius rising. And then, oh my goodness, Sagittarius rising. We've got Venus, the planet of love now over your first house. However, yes, Venus will only be there for a matter of days from December 29th until the 31st. So even if it's just for a few days, Sagittarius rising, make those last few days of 2023 count, and you will be especially very charming. And hey, people will love to hear some of those very amazing Sagittarius opinions. And by the way, for the close of the year, hey, you might be revamping your particular Sagittarius outspoken style. Yes, indeed. Then we've got Mars, the planet of action. Sagittarius, yes, we've got that direct finally over your seventh house of partnership, but that will go direct on January the 12th. And then it will be in Gemini until March the 25th. So Mars will be there just for a brief period of time now, Sagittarius. But you know what? You know what the back and forth of Mars, direct, retrograde, and now again in January, direct once more, has been. And especially during the latter half of 2022, because of Mars's retrograde phase, you may have felt a little bit frustrated with regards to partnerships, relationships, dealing with the public, you name it. But also, what else is retrograde Mars about? Well, Mars is about communications. It's about the third house. So maybe there's been some travels with your sweetheart that have been also rather communications frustrating now. But also, retrograde Mars is about going back into the past. So perhaps maybe some of your exes, or maybe those that you held near and dear with certain friendships, or those that you were connected with business and so on, also made a reappearance in your life now, Sagittarius. But you have been particularly energetic with all partnerships matters. But because Mars is here, and especially since as of late it has been making a square off to nebulous Neptune and in your fourth house of family, maybe there has been a conflict with family and partnerships. But this has been a very busy kind of a time for you with family connected with partnerships, or as mentioned, conflict connected with your loved ones and your partnerships. Or maybe, who knows, because of this fourth house connection, although a little bit uncertain with Neptune there, maybe your sweetheart and you have been making plans to buy that particular house, or maybe you've been renovating. So there has been a lot about getting together and really doing things together, which is a plus, especially with multitasking Gemini there. It's all about togetherness. And until January the 25th, it will remain so. But finishing up, it will be indeed very memorable and a rewarding time for you, Sagittarius rising with Mars in the sign of Gemini. Then we've got to move forward. We've got Mars, yes, the planet of action, Sagittarius in Virgo until July the 10th. And that will go into Virgo, the planet of action, in your 10th house of career. That will be there from May the 20th until July the 10th. Then, wow, you're really going to be turning up the volume as far as your career is concerned. So, Mercury was all about communicating with the boss. You and the boss are now making plans, taking action for your future. You're going to be very busy with your fellow coworkers and employees, or maybe you're going to be very ambitious and going after some of those jobs that you've wanted now. And by all means, yes, now Sagittarius, you will obtain them. Yes, or maybe there's that Virgo connection again. You will be really way working overtime at the office. But whatever it is, you're going to be traveling, you're going to be speaking, and putting extra zest and enthusiasm into your career now, Sagittarius rising. Then we've got Mars, the planet of action. Yes, on November the 24th until the end of 2003, we've got Mars, the planet of action, going into your first house. Talk about energy plus Sagittarius rising. And Mars, because it rules Aries, well, and Scorpio, but in particular Aries, loves to be with your sign, Sagittarius. And over your first house, well, Sagittarius, you do everything with zest and enthusiasm. At the very least, you're a very positive and forward-looking person. So with Mars there now and that energetic placement, you are going to be very real go get them right now. And that is very, well, positive for you, Sagittarius. You will have boundless energy to complete some of those projects. Yes, indeed. But because we've got the square off with Nebulous, yes, Neptune in Pisces, and then later on in the year, Neptune in Pisces, then later on in the year, Saturn then going into the sign of Pisces as well. With Mars there, you might be a little unsure-footed then too, Sagittarius rising, of your actions. Or maybe you may be confused about what actions to take now in your life, Sagittarius rising. Should you get that haircut? Should you change up your style? Well, how is it that you want to appear now, Sagittarius? But with Mars there, you will do everything with the utmost of zest. And while you're doing it, you're going to be very happy-go-lucky and very impressive, Sagittarius rising, to many right now. That is very good. Then we've got Jupiter. Oh, you know about Jupiter, Sagittarius rising, because that is the ruler of your rising sign. So wherever Jupiter's placement is during the year is more important for you than the other rising signs. And where is Jupiter? Yes, Jupiter right now is in the there's that word again, enthusiastic, forward-looking, leadership-oriented sign of Aries. Yes, indeed. And where is Jupiter going to be until May 16th of 2023? But in your fun fifth house. And Jupiter likes to be in Aries, like Jupiter likes to be in Sagittarius too, because it adds that extra bit of zest and depth to whatever you do. And with the compatibility with Jupiter and Aries and your Sagittarius rising in the fifth, well, for you unattached Sagittarius risings now, it's going to be a great time to meet and greet many different, well, possibly positive, forward-looking, yet philosophical suitors now. Yes, indeed. A abundantly. Yes, you may be going on lots of dates and having a lot of fun now with Jupiter's placement. Maybe you're going to take that trip of a lifetime, Sagittarius. And right now, you are going to be very abundant with your creativity. Maybe you were thinking about playing that musical instrument or taking up that particular art class or expressing yourself in some other creative and artistic style. Yes, indeed. It's a really fun time too to express yourself and possibly, who knows, expand now your family, or you may have news of a family expansion right now. So it's also a good time for children's interest. Maybe some good time for downtime with the kids, the grandkids, you name it, and even some of those speculative ventures. So maybe the time with the Virgo, Mercury, Mars emphasis in your 10th house of career, you've been speculating to create some of those businesses now, Sagittarius rising. And then we have Jupiter expansive Jupiter going into your natal 6th house of work, business, and health. And that will go into Taurus on May the 16th. It will flip back retrograde on September 5th until the 30th of December. It will go direct once more. And what is Jupiter in your 6th house? Well, any place, any house placement that Jupiter goes into in our birth chart is all about where Jupiter will bless us with generosity, with abundance extraordinaire. And no, Jupiter doesn't do anything small. Jupiter does everything in grandiose style. So with Jupiter and your ruler, by the way, Sagittarius rising, in your 6th house, it's all about abundance with what? Your work, possibly your career. So right now with Jupiter there, you will have a great deal of insight about what to do with your work, with your business. And hey, if things have been just a little bit uncertain with business, maybe especially materially now, Sagittarius rising, Jupiter will endow you possibly with financial support for your business, for your work. Hey, maybe you've been looking for that dream job, Sagittarius rising, maybe with involving travel, which you love. And that is wonderful because with Jupiter there, it will allow you the freedom to do what you want to do, say what you want to say. It's a great time that you are feeling positive about all your work and business connections. And hey, Jupiter, because it's the planet of abundance, kind of like with the Mars Mercury connection in your 10th house, you may be taking on more than one job or starting more than one business. It's very good. And especially with Uranus, the big planet of the shocking and the unexpected, with Taurus later on in the year, you may have some sweet surprises regarding your health and wellness. You may feel better than you have in a long time. Hey, weren't you going to take up that new gym membership? I think so now, Sagittarius rising. And hey, who knows? You may be involved with animal activities and the like, and who knows, get that family pet now, Sagittarius rising. Then we've got Saturn. Yes, indeed, Saturn, the planet of restriction, the planet of karma. Yes, indeed, Sagittarius rising, and that will remain there this year for just a brief time until March the 7th, and then it will go into Pisces. Then it will go backwards retrograde on June 17th until November 4th when it will go direct again. So, what does that mean? Well, for the past 2 to 2.5 years, Sagittarius rising with Saturn in your communications house, and Saturn is in the unexpected sign of Aquarius. You may been very leery about really opening up and communicating with people because you've probably noticed as of late, Sagittarius rising, that some of your communications have been stymied, or you've had to have an immense amount of patience, especially with Saturn there, especially during Saturn and Aquarius retrograde phase as well. And during the very opening months of 2023, Sagittarius rising, yes, you will be finishing up on some of those, well, somewhat difficult communications now. But this is all too good for you. Why? Because Sagittarius, yes, indeed, Saturn is connected with karma. So, yes, maybe you've been frustrated about some of your communications, but maybe you've equally been frustrated trying to create that blog or whatever you're writing now. Maybe that important book, Sagittarius rising, or maybe you've had some frustrations with that automobile breaking down or whatever problems, also with transportation as well too, Sagittarius. But because Saturn is the planet of karma, it will always reward you. So even though you've been plugging away at that book or trying to get maybe a writing career off the ground, well, guess what now? Sagittarius rising, you will finally be able to move forward with that important writing, maybe that book, or maybe some of the communications around you have been a bit stifled. But some of those people that you've been communicating with in your vicinity could end up being really good friends for you for life. So, see, even Saturn has a good sign in Aquarius as well. Yes, and now we've got Saturn moving into the sign of Pisces, the mutable yet sympathetic sign of Pisces in your fourth house of, yes, indeed, family. And yes, Saturn in Pisces, and do refer to my Saturn in Pisces video for more information. But Saturn in Pisces is all about examining our fears, what some of our anxieties and concerns are. But with Saturn in Pisces, it's going to meet up with nebulous, the confuser, the deceiver, Neptune now. But equally, Saturn and Pisces, as with Neptune, are very compassionate placements. Yes, they are. But with Saturn, yes, maybe some of your concerns or your fears now may be, well, with family. Yes, indeed, Sagittarius rising, there could be some conflicts with family that may need to be resolved now, Sagittarius rising. And because it's with Pisces, which is very sensitive and compassionate, you, Sagittarius rising, may be looked upon to quelch some of those family disputes. But Saturn there, yes, will require a great deal of patience. But indeed, the fourth house is also connected with what, Sagittarius rising? Your actual physical house. So right now, your house may need some repairs, or maybe you will need that extra added patience regarding renovations or connecting with real estate. Maybe you're going to take Saturn more seriously and maybe look into flipping homes or getting into a career with real estate. Nonetheless, this will also need to require patience, and your living situation may be a little bit uncertain. But remember, as always, Sagittarius rising, Saturn is the planet of karma. So, whatever setbacks or uncertainties that you experience now will only benefit you in the future. So, who knows? Maybe renovating that property after Saturn leaves the sign of Pisces will benefit you in a couple years because you'll be able to flip it and make a lot of money. So, yes, indeed, Saturn is always good in the long run. Then we got that unexpected big planet Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And we're jumping back to your sixth house now, Sagittarius rising. So with Uranus there, and it's been in there for quite a number of years now, Sagittarius rising, you may have noticed that, well, work and business has been really unpredictable. And yes, maybe you've had to close the book on a particular job. Maybe there's been some unexpected upsets at work, connected with business, connected with coworkers, maybe issues with your pets. Yes, and yes, because it's in the health and wellness sector, perhaps Sagittarius rising, you've had to deal with some uncertainties regarding your health or wellness, and this will possibly occur again in 2023. But guess what? You've got Jupiter there meeting up in the latter half of 2023 with Uranus. So whatever is topsy-turvy and up and down right now during 2023 will only benefit you. Your health will improve. And who knows, some of the communications with your business partners will be wonderful now and very giving with Jupiter there. And as aforementioned, maybe you will find the job of a lifetime, that which you've always been looking for. But right now, it's about the unexpected, the shocking. So you may unexpectedly find that job. You may unexpectedly find that perfect diet or health regime that's just right for you. But even with big Uranus there, the unexpected, the unpredictable, and, well, a little strange, well, even with Uranus, it always adds new air. It always likes to mix it up a little bit wherever it is. And with your sixth house, you're going to have just a little unexpected fun with all your health and work business matters right now, Sagittarius rising. Then, yes, indeed, we've got Neptune, the uncertain deceiver, deceptive, yet compassionate planet in the compassionate, sensitive water sign, mutable sign of Pisces in your fourth house. And it has been there also for a number of years. And Neptune will be into Pisces until, and direct, that is, until June 30th, and then it will go retrograde and flip back until December the 6th in the sign of Pisces. And it's been, here we go again, your fourth house and family. So yes, indeed, with family, it has been over these many years, Sagittarius, for you, probably, well, a little bit confusing. And maybe honestly, with nebulous Neptune there, you've been a little bit unsure of maybe within your family unit of who's been telling the truth and who isn't. Or maybe there's been family members that change their mind quite frequently, and relationships with them have been, well, confusing or uncertain. Or maybe your living situation has been a little bit confusing. Maybe you've had to move a lot. Or maybe your physical abode, your house, has needed repairs, and especially what Sagittarius rising connected with water. So maybe the plumbing now has been a bit of an issue. And to be honest, Sagittarius rising, Neptune will remain in Pisces during the remainder of 2023. So, yes, some of those issues will continue on. But the good side of Neptune is all about sensitivity, compassion, love, kindness, and even creativity in the highest. So, right now, you may have a creative bend connected with real estate. And you will trust your intuition and psychic sense into your family needs. And you may be the one that is there that family turns to for help and aid. But this is all good for you because Neptune, indeed, Sagittarius rising, is all about our, well, to some degree, our humanity and our charity and love in the highest. So at the end of the day, even Neptune, as confusing as it is, will benefit you. Then we have the power planet Pluto, yes, indeed, in Capricorn, jumping back to your second house of income, and that will be in Capricorn only until March the 23rd, and it will jump forward in Aquarius. It will go into Aquarius until May the 1st. It will flip back retrograde and then back into Capricorn on June 11th until October 10th, and it will go direct for the remainder of the year. Phew, that's another long-standing planet transit. But in Capricorn, you have noticed, Sagittarius rising, that, well, your finances have been probably a little bit up and down too. Perhaps there was money loss, or some of your values you've been questioning as of late. But wherever Pluto is, it can be, well, rather intense. And here it is passionately in your second house of income. So, yes, indeed, this year it will be about more than just your money. Why? Because Pluto will be zipping along into the sign of Aquarius, even for just over a month. But even in the latter degree of Capricorn, uh, there with Pluto, it's about what? Your humanity. Because as Pluto gets closer to Aquarius, and once it enters the sign of Aquarius, and then in your third house of communications, your, well, your communications and connections with your money will be, well, rather intense. Yes, still Sagittarius rising, but you will want to use your money for a higher, more greater purpose now, especially connected with charity. Perhaps you want to take some of your money and invest it in some important concern of yours with helping or aiding other people. Or perhaps now you're going to communicate to other people, perhaps groups of people, Aquarius, or your friends now, especially Aquarius, once more there too, that you all want to join together for some higher cause. That could be a project, charity, yes, indeed, or something else where you feel like you are helping others. But Pluto will no longer be about business for business sake or just finance. It's going to be taking on that humane, somewhat of a hue and a desire now, Sagittarius rising. But this will be very rewarding for you. And at the end of the day, you will be helping others financially and communicating with many people socially about your wonderful helping hand. And that's a very positive thing indeed. Finally, we are looking ahead to the solar and lunar eclipses, of which there are four. The first one is on April 20th at 29 degrees of Aries and up. That's in your natal fifth house. Yes, we're back to that fifth house connection. It's going to be a highlight for you. Yes, with the solar eclipse, new moon there, with all connections with love, romance, and creativity. Maybe you'll meet that special person now, Sagittarius rising, or have a special nod or notice for your artistic talent. Then we've got the lunar eclipse on May 5th at 14 degrees of Scorpio in your 12th house. It's about going behind the scenes. It's about healing now, or maybe there may be a healing procedure that you want to look into, alternative or holistic medicines or medical procedures. But this indeed will be very good for you, Sagittarius rising. At the least, very well now, Sagittarius. It's a good time for what? For downtime with that lunar eclipse in Scorpio. But because there is an axis with that Uranus-Jupiter connection between your 6th house and your 12th house, do keep an eye on your health now, mentally and physically, and don't let your emotions get the best of you, Sagittarius rising. Then we've got the solar eclipse on October 14th. Yes, indeed, at 21 degrees of Libra in your 11th house of friends. So, oh boy, you are particularly busy now, busy with friends and groups, just flowering around, helping each other, hanging out with each other, social media, wow, social everything. And there's that charity theme again. And your dreams, watch them, your dreams, your goals, Sagittarius, take off now. Then we've got finally the lunar eclipse on October 28th at 5 degrees of Taurus, and that up is back into your 6th house of work. It is a lunar eclipse, and again, as mentioned, connected with that 6th and that 12th house axis. So yes, be on guard with all health concerns and that deals with your business. But you'll make it through, Sagittarius rising. So to surmise this year, Sagittarius rising, there's a lot connected with your 6th house, with business, and with Uranus and Jupiter there. Yes, it will benefit you greatly now, finally, even with unexpected Uranus there. Oh, it's going to be a time of change, but change is always going to be good. With your 10th house connection, as well as your 6th house, again, that's emphasizing your career and action with those you work with, you do business with, and maybe developing many different businesses and with travel. And the connection with your 4th house in family and your living situation. Yes, there may be some setbacks and uncertainty, but take a hint from Neptune if you apply kindness, concern, help, and love. Yes, indeed, this will be a fine year for you. And best of luck, Sagittarius rising in 2023.